Do you want a piece control like this? After you watch this video, you'll be piece controlling like a pro. A lot more than just mechanics goes into piece control. You have to be able to read your opponent while in fights to properly piece control them and secure the elimination. Someone who has mastered piece control on controller is G-Money. Just take a look at a few of these insane clips of his. As you can see, G-Money is a master of piece control on controller. So let's take a closer look at two of these clips and we'll fully break them down. So here you see G-Money editing out of his box and jumping to the side. What he's doing here is looking for his opponent and making sure he knows exactly where they are at all times. Now, right when he sees his opponent in the box, he places a ramp and a high wall. The high wall is used here in case his opponent edits up, but G-Money is always reading his opponent in fights and he sees that he's starting to move out of the box to his right. So what does G-Money do? He instantly piece controls his right side with the wall, edits through, and he pre-pieces exactly where he sees his opponent going with a wall and a cone. He edits the wall, and he takes an easy shot to secure the elimination. In this second clip, you see G-Money building up for high ground with protective retakes. At all times, while building, G-Money is staying aware of where his opponent is. Being able to track your opponent and know exactly where they are in fights is very important so you never miss an opportunity to piece control them and secure that elimination. As you see here, he edits through his wall, sees his opponent, and he instantly piece controls him with a cone and a wall. He then makes a peanut butter edit, places the top cone, back wall, and side wall so that his opponent is fully piece controlled and he has nowhere to go. He jumps and lines up a max damage 185 pump to secure the elimination. Before we get into the next way to improve your piece control, if you want to become an even better player, you can access all of our courses and bootcamp content for just $7.99. And if personalized coaching is more your speed, you'll get 10% off any session with any one of our pros. Now that you can read your opponents in fights, let's talk about your mechanics. Now, let's be real. Even if you know how to piece control, you still need to have the mechanics to do it efficiently. You don't have to be as fast as Mero or as flashy as Day, but you do have to be consistent with your builds and edits to have great piece control on controller. So let's talk about how you can train your mechanics on controller to piece control like the pros. The best way to train your mechanics is in, well, creative. Whether you're running some edit courses or you're just free building, you'll always want to practice with a purpose. Now, while you're free building, pretend like you're in a game scenario and mix in some piece control moves like these. Doing this will allow you to build muscle memory of certain piece control edits that you need to do during fights. And you'll be able to translate this practice you do during free building to in-game scenarios when the time comes. This map I'm about to show you is the best map to use in creative to work on piece control and mechanics at the same time. Raider's piece control map has over 25 plus in-game scenarios where you need to piece control your opponent and secure an elimination, and you can go through these types of scenarios an unlimited amount of times until you feel comfortable. Now, if you go through a specific scenario that you usually struggle with, spend some extra time working on that specific scenario until you can get through it without missing an edit. This map works so well to learn piece control because it helps you build muscle memory of certain scenarios while in creative, and once you're in the same type of situation in game, you'll know exactly what to do to secure the elimination. Another great way to practice and improve your mechanics on controller is with edit courses. If you feel like you have your builds down but mess up with your edits a lot of the time, then hop into an edit course in creative to practice. While going through an edit course, try to slow down your edits and go through the course slowly, working on precision and consistency rather than speed. Once you can get through the full edit course a few times slowly without messing up, try going through it a little faster each time and track your progress. Being able to hit all your edits consistently is a huge factor in piece control. Now, there's going to be times when you see an opportunity to piece control someone and secure the kill, but you whiff your edit and you end up losing the fight because of it. But since you've been practicing your edits in creative, you'll be able to hit the edits, piece control your opponent, and secure the elimination. So now that your mechanics on controller are up to par, let's talk about a different type of piece control that not everyone utilizes. Now let's talk about counter piece control. Counter piece control is essentially piece controlling yourself so that you can avoid being piece controlled by your opponent. This means when you're box fighting, you need to make sure you have a cone or stair in your own box, the floor and cone above you, and your sidewall. walls. Now, this will give you many options to escape that box if your opponent starts to pressure you and take your walls. You can use your side walls to edit out and create a new box, turn around and edit backwards to make a new box, or you could even double edit up and look for a quick shot on your opponent. Let's take a look at this clip together to see counter piece control put to use in a box fight. Here we see someone in a box fight about to get their wall pressured by the opponent. Now, as soon as he sees his wall getting pressured, he makes sure he places a cone in his box and he edits it towards the wall that's being pressured so that even if his opponent does get the wall, he won't be able to get a shot off because the cone is blocking it. He then edits out the side wall to put himself into a better position, and he looks to start piece controlling his opponent. He notices exactly where his opponent is, and he predicts that he's going to end editing into his box. So he piece controls the front wall, and he edits it looking for a shot. He will get a 49 tag you see there, and he immediately piece controls the opponent's side wall, then making a peanut butter edit and finishing off the fight with a clean 161 damage pump. Now that you know about counter piece control and how to protect yourself during fights, let's talk about a type of piece control you may have never heard of before: over piece control. Yes, there is a such thing as over piece controlling. Over piece controlling is when you try to piece control someone too much, giving the opponent free shots on you. Now, I know it may look cool to run in a box, claim every single wall and cone, and full piece your opponent, but in certain scenarios, it is not always the best option to try and go for a full piece because it leaves yourself exposed and it creates a 50-50. Sometimes it's just better to claim a wall and a cone and take a quick shot on your opponent to avoid taking damage yourself. Take a look at this clip, for example. In this clip, you see someone going for piece control on their opponent. They piece the front wall and cone, but then they decide to fully piece their opponent by taking the back wall, side walls, and the roof, leaving a lot of time for their opponent to shoot back. Now, what he should have done is take the front wall and cone, edit through, and then take a shot, reset the wall, edit again, and finish the elimination. You do not always need to fully piece your opponent to secure the elimination. This takes us back to being able to read your opponent. If you go for piece control on your opponent and you see that they only have their gun out, odds are they're only looking for return fire, and you should still piece control them, but only with the front wall and cone, which are the most important to own. Make sure that you're covering your angles to avoid being your shot yourself. Now, if you're going for piece control and you see that your opponent has their building blueprints out, then that's a good time to go for full piece because they won't have enough time to return fire. So just make sure you do it quick. Now that we've gone over how to become a piece control god on controller, let's do a quick recap to make sure you remember every tip and apply everything in your own games. Read your opponents in fights by making sure you're always aware of where they are to never miss an opportunity to piece control them. Work on your mechanics and creative with some free building, edit courses, and running through Raider's piece control map to build muscle memory that'll translate to in-game scenarios. Counter piece control yourself by placing cones in your box, claiming sidewalls and roofs to make sure you always have somewhere to edit out of when your box is being pressured. Lastly, try not to over piece control in fights and leave yourself exposed while trying to claim every build in the opponent's box. Doing this can cause you to take more damage than you've put out and ultimately lose the fight. That just about wraps up the video for today. If you want to see more content on how to improve as a Fortnite player, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Also, make sure to stay tuned for more skill improving videos.